Dalam BuzzPOP hari ini, kita bakal membincangkan My Hero Academia Season 5, Episode 11. Para panelis kita malam ini terdiri daripada saya, Nadzru Iskandar daripada BuzzPOP TV. Kaki manga kita, Anri Alwi. What's up, Anri?
What's up?
Yeah. Alright. Dan juga kaki anime kita, Shazli American. What's up, Shaz?
Yo, hello.
Alright. So, yeah. Episod minggu ni aku tak expect aku rasa we could have had one more episode, but kita
Actually,
akan bincangkan kita akan bincangkan tu dalam reaksi satu ayat kita. Okay, reaksi satu ayat pada aku it's too short lah. I wish there was one more episode. Selepas insiden Deku one for all minggu-minggu lepas, battle number 5 di antara kelas 1A versus 1B bersambung dengan kedua-dua pihak mencuba sedaya upaya untuk menang. Judul episod minggu ini, Our Brawl, berkaitan dengan kelas 1A bertungkus lumus, coming together to overcome all odds dan mengalahkan kelas 1B. So, yes, Shaz, apakah pendapat kau ataupun reaksi satu ayat kau kepada episod My Hero Academia minggu ini?
Foreshadowing daripada penonton-penonton kita semua telah buktikan bahawa Mineta memang
Yes.
Tapi dia punya perangai konsisten doh. Perangai dia konsisten. So yeah, I'm very happy lah. My reaction will be Mineta has greatly improved.
Definitely.
Tapi he stay true to his character, which is orang hamsap.
Yes. Dia superhero pun dia still hamsap. So dia super hamsap. Anri, silakan reaksi satu ayat.
It's a lacking episode. It's a good episode, but it lacks when compared to the previous episode. It feels rushed. Some plots fall apart, and the length, I think it could be like another 6 minutes longer and become much better episode.
Betul. Kita akan
You
bincangkan
think
tu
there was
dalam
actually some plots yang not expanded from the manga?
It's some things that happen in this episode doesn't quite make sense, doesn't click. After all this build up, after all dia punya character interaction kan, it doesn't mesh up to what we were expecting. It doesn't actually make sense. That's what I'm saying.
Cool. Yeah. Sebelum kita ke 5 plot menarik minggu ini, kita ada satu komen daripada penonton di rumah, kategori The Great mengatakan agak kurang episod ini. Yes, aku dan para panelis lain setuju, dan kita akan bincangkan ini di dalam 5 plot menarik episod minggu ini. Okay, jadi plot menarik pertama adalah plot twist Mineta-Bounce. Kalau kau tengok dalam overlay tu, Mineta menggunakan tetek Ashida untuk bounce. Dan dia pandai, dia dah letak dia punya kita nampak dalam episod ni dia ada 2 quote penting. Pertama, Mineta mengatakan, the balls can stick to any surface, but only I can bounce off them. The balls I've laid down are traps for everyone else, but they are personal trampoline platforms for me. This was all part of the plan. ... Dan efeknya adalah ketika Shoda, Mamat Twin Impact daripada kelas 1B mengatakan, we have to retreat, but he is moving too quickly. We have no chance to devise a counter attack. Kalau kau tengok dalam overlay yang sebelah kiri aku ni, yang the third panel tu memang perfect . So soalan aku kepada para panelis, apakah pendapat anda tentang Mineta applying his powers offensively in a unique way for the first time? Adakah character growth ini something that you expected? Kita mulakan dengan Shaz.
Honestly kan, I did not expect it that he can bounce macam ni. I thought he will be using it macam, kan kita pernah tengok dia connect the balls kan, dia boleh buat macam tali and what not. So that, I didn't see that happen lah. Maybe further down the road he can expand on that. Tapi macam aku pernah fikir, I think I seen long ago lah, ada one episode dia macam picit-picit tau dia punya berbola ni tau. So mungkin at that point dia dah realise the potential, tapi it was kept in the background so that he secretly training and everything. Lepas tu, this is the first time benda tu berlaku. So the impact to an anime viewer memang is quite mengejutkan lah. dengan kelajuan dia pun memang it's quite fast. Tapi itulah kau tengok dia punya genius dia. He know exactly what to do kan.
Yeah. Dia macam it is very dependent on teamwork tau. Kalau macam Ashida tak baling dia, it wouldn't have happened. So dalam planning dia tu ada juga elemen hamsap dia kena, aku kena make sure aku kena titik Ashida, lepas tu dia lempang aku, lepas tu aku berlayar. It was all the plan all the time.
Tapi yang menariknya is that dia ni a bit macam Steve Rogers Captain America tau, because dia boleh imagine the trajectory, bounce angle semua ni almost instantaneous tau when you consider how fast he's moving. I mean, yes, the grips are everywhere, but for him to randomly bounce and determine angle which can actually attack opponent ni is memang something consistent dengan karakter dia lah, sebab dia top 3 kot dalam kelas ke top 5. Dia ni memang very smart punya karakter.
Anri, apa pula pendapat kau?
Okay, Mineta having character growth in this episode, I would say it's like a mixed bag lah. He has growth as a hero, combat growth, but as a person, I think he remains the same. When he is in this match, right, I dah agak dah mesti dia akan meraba atau cuba mencabul kehormatan teammate dia, musuh dia. When he bounce, when he bounce around macam tu kan, okay, it was impressive, but I'm pretty sure when he was past dekat dengan the opponent perempuan, I'm pretty sure dia cuba pegang dia punya bontot or something as they pass. It's typical pervert punya maneuvers lah. And I'm pretty sure every time he bounce on those balls kan, mungkin dia, maybe that's why he's good at it, mungkin dia teringat, oh, I'm bouncing on the tits and asses of a woman because the consistency and feeling, it all adds up to his skills lah. The more perverted his imagination is, the more powerful he gets lah. So in a sense, yeah, he has a lot of growth in this episode. But if you want to puji him tinggi-tinggi, right, I'm pretty sure the best is yet to come lah.
Cool.
Yang seronok kan, bila that 1B punya girl student poltergeist tu lari kan, dia cakap lagi, janganlah elak weh, stop evading lah weh. Aku rasa macam dia specifically target all the girls tau. Maybe because of that, that's why Twin Impact dia tengok, dia ni asyik serang girls kan, nas biji, because he becomes predictable.
Yeah. Tapi it's good lah that he is motivated, you know, walaupun cara salah tapi motivated.
I've said earlier, like 2 weeks ago, that when the class 1B ada macam 2 participant perempuan, dah agak dah Mineta is going to bring his A game. Memang the hentai pervert is at, if it 12 on a scale of 10, memang naik lah.
Motivation jadi tinggi gila.
Definitely. Yeah. This is one of my favorite things.
Kalau semua lelaki memang dia tak ada tak motivated, dia kalah terus, dia give up.
Yeah, I think so.
Time out.
I forfeit.
Ataupun dia dulu masuk jail. I give up. Please bring me to jail.
Cannot fight the opponents.
So kita ada beberapa komen daripada penonton di rumah ya. Pertama, Iqbal Lee mengatakan Mineta tak banyak finishing attack, jadi improvement ni amat bagus sekali. Seterusnya dia menambah, Captain America shield versi Mineta pun mantap. Yes, aku quite surprised that he made a shield using all of his balls, man. That's quite innovative. And seterusnya kategori The Great mengatakan, rasanya kalau Mineta buat human arsenal boleh jadi berbahaya. Human arsenal macam mana tu? Does it mean he put the balls on his body ke macam mana? What do you guys think by it?
Apa komen ni? Human arsenal?
I don't quite get the meaning.
Nanti kategori The Great boleh explain.
But I mentioned earlier just now that there was something lacking in terms of plot. Mineta was throwing a lot of balls around, And if you remember in the previous episodes with Mineta, dia kata if I throw too much, keluar berdarah tau apa. So they didn't explain what he did to actually make his ball input increase. So there was a small plot hole there. So
we could have had a little backstory, tunjuk dia betapa nak belajar buat lagi banyak ball sampai berdarah ke.
Atau shampoo kepala dengan minyak kelapa or something, anything lah.
Mungkin all this time pun dia dah start preparing dah all the balls dalam belakang dia punya cape, dia sorok-sorok kan. Sebab
tapi
kita,
kalau kau tengok, everybody had a backstory last episode. Monoma had a backstory, Ochako had a backstory. So it was wasted that Mineta didn't have a backstory.
Tapi Mineta memang ni played for laughs karakter dia ni. So memang dia like, okay lah, we give him a comedy section. Tapi every time dia hams up kan, dia mesti kena balik. Dengan Ashido kan, oh I got my reward, yay. Lepas tu dia kena pusing. Help me.
But this time he played it to his advantage. He knew that Ashido would do this, therefore he prepared himself. So kategori mengatakan bahawa maksud dia by human arsenal adalah letak bola dekat badan dia. Wow. So dia akan jadi bouncy maksudnya dia jadi macam missile. I think that was pretty cool.
Wasn't there Marvel hero ke DC hero macam tu?
It's called Speedball. Nama karakter itu Speedball. It's from the early 90s or late 80s. A really weird character from New Warriors kalau korang pernah baca back in 95. Kategori cuma mengatakan di dinding nampak banyak kot. Yes. So itulah pasal dia dah cabutkan banyak. Kenapa dia tak berdarah? At least tunjuklah dia practice supaya tak berdarah ke apa ke. And then Iqbali mengatakan mesti dia pakai shampoo bawang ni. Okey lah. Dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan ke babak menarik kita yang kedua. So babak menarik kita yang kedua adalah Monoma's Bluff Monoma cuba mencuri kuasa Deku, namun dia telah ditumpaskan Ochako menggunakan gunhead martial arts. So dua quote penting dalam scene ni adalah satu daripada Monoma. Dia punya monolog ni memang cool gila. You can't become stronger on your own. I can only copy others' quirks. I don't have qualities to be in the spotlight. But I've never hated my quirk. Because in every masterpiece, there are supporting characters who outshine the main protagonist. Domat ni memang ada God syndrome lah. Dia memang ada God syndrome ke apa, God complex lah. Kemudian pada waktu yang sama, Deku teringat yang All Might kata, a weak body can't support it at all. So you may explode into pieces. So persoalan aku kepada para panelis, pada pendapat anda, bolehkah Monoma mengawal kuasa One for All sekiranya dia berjaya mencurinya daripada Deku? Ataupun adakah Monoma bakal meletup menjadi street art berdarah di lantai peperangan UA? Kita mulakan dengan Anri. Silakan Anri.
Okay, I think it's not possible for him to get Deku's power because Deku sendiri pun cannot extract its full power. You cannot steal something if there's only like small part of it is exposed. So for him to actually steal some yang Deku, he must actually have a significant control of the power itself. Kalau setakat channeling the power, he has to actually bypass Deku, which I don't think is possible for him at that stage. So it's not matter if Monoma can or cannot. He just can at this point in time.
Okay, that's a pretty cool pendapat. Shaz, apa pendapat kau? Is it true that because it's being channeled, therefore the Monoma had no chance? Silakan.
Dia first of all, One for All punya power ni must be given away willingly.
Yes.
So dia memang tak boleh nak di-copy. Now dalam the movie yang Two Heroes Rising tu, dia try to curi the power. Apa nama 9 ke 8? 9. He tried to curi but he could not curi because and he said that there was a potential for multiple quirks dalam body dia. So the essence itself dia tak boleh nak curi. But tapi kan comes the question tau, how did Monoma manage to fake the electricity coming out from him? Is that dia just touching the fringes of one for all punya power. Memang naturally kalau dia nak ambil power orang, he will naturally glow or curi, because mungkin kebetulan that he can manifest the power a bit just to fake out. That one is something which is quite interesting lah. I don't recall seeing the electricity masa dalam kelas punya masa the sports punya day.
Sports day. Yeah, sports day. Yeah.
There was no electricity punya ni. So that was a very surprising part. Dalam manga ada ke, Anri, this part yang keluar electricity tu?
Yeah, I recall other scene, but it wasn't explained how he got the electricity. My guess is when they were watching the whole practice session, and maybe he went to the class 1A punya guy and take the power unknowingly. He said he can keep a number of powers within him, and he didn't actually expose all of his power. He kata, do you think I just show you all my powers? No.
Or the limit of time, macam 5 minit. No, it could be any time. Macam
he could have touch apa nama that guy yang electric tu, yang 1A tu. What's his name? Kaminari. He just need to touch him and then dapat kan. I think that's how his quirk works, because he touched Midoriya and kononnya dapat one for all. So maybe he touched Kaminari, semasa tak tahu. They were in match 5. He could have touched after match 1, which Kaminari was in. So there's like 3 matches. Dia boleh take advantage. He can just perang siku or handshake or whatever it is. You never know, but it wasn't explained.
Wow. Kalau setiap match is 25 minutes, that's more than 75 minutes. Dia boleh lama juga dia simpan.
Yeah, simpan. He said he keeps the power in dia punya device, something like that. Maybe after he use it, maybe there's a time limit after that. But instead of using it at the time, he just keep it for under wraps. He just Monoma, dia punya quirk is not the main danger tau. His main danger is his mind games tau. He can actually set up mind games and trap people how to react in certain situation, and this is what he did. Midoriya didn't notice yang dia kena masa tampar tu, he was actually kena dia punya quirk from one of his hidden powers. We didn't know. Yeah, we didn't know that he did that, and I'm pretty sure yang letter tu pun he didn't explain, because he just do what he does for the sake of getting the win. He doesn't bother to explain to his enemies. He just uses the punya hidden cards lah to win. That's how he operates. He's not a direct person. He's an indirect person.
Yeah, more like a villain. More like a villain than a hero. Man.
Yeah, he claims to be a villain, but I'm not sure it's because of his quirk. It's just because of his character. I mean, he can have the power to raise the dead, buat bangkai hidup, and still be a hero. But the way he uses his power is very shady. So maybe that's why he thinks he's more villain-oriented than hero-oriented. He still wants to be a hero.
Agreed. Shaz, apa pendapat kau?
Yang menarik about Monoma is that dia punya extent of power most likely will never be known, because memang his personality tu memang macam tu tau. Kau ingat aku boleh review 3 je ke? How do you know I don't have 4? He might not have taken Shinso punya power because of the fact that he mungkin respect Shinso, or maybe he really had a 4th one. He maybe actually had Shinso punya power, tapi sebab tak pernah ada orang respond dengan dia verbally, so dia tak boleh nak trigger. So quite a lot interesting points lah. Kalau katakan dia dah ambil Kaminari punya power and combine with another power yang gives green punya aura kan, I'm pretty sure it can come out. Dia ada green electricity. So dia punya power tu macam depending on the plot lah. Kalau if he needs, selagi he has not been dictated how powerful he is, it will be depending on the author punya whims lah. Dia macam, kalau kita tengok Kaminari, kalau dia go above certain electricity rate, dia akan jalan And then kalau kita tengok both the hardening punya characters kan, they reach a certain point where they cannot handle it anymore, or they grow in a way yang kita boleh nampak tau. Macam Tetsu when he fight against Todoroki, there was even he himself was reaching the point where like aku dah dalam betapa api pun kan, but can still push back. So kalau if you consider it that way, Monoma, he is very good at combining quirks, which is partly because of dia punya close ties dengan dia punya classmates. Funnily enough, dia dengan classmate dia very strong bonds tau. Dia tak ada macam gaduh-gaduh. Dia macam like aku, it's like macam Bakugo kan. Bakugo, a lot of people respect his strength, but not really into him as a friend. Whereas Monoma is like, Monoma ni is the ultimate representation of 1B. He is the eternal underdog tau. Without strong allies, I cannot be strong. So mungkin as part of his training, ni teori Brazil lah, mungkin he just boleh simpan power mungkin 3-4 jam tau. But it can, the longer his story, the less amount of it is available lah. So maybe kalau dia ambil Kaminari punya power, that moment kan dia combine jadi instead of yellow electricity jadi hijau ke?
The question is, does he have more than 9 slots to defeat 9? Number one. Number two, kenapa mangaka ni suka buat banyak sangat karakter yang lebih kurang sama, iaitu boleh curi power orang ataupun have more than one power. Kalau you think about it, you have All for One, 9, Mamat ni, and then like Shigaraki. So it's like it's quite. Is it like a main theme of this series?
Tak, dia macam ni. There will be repeating powers. Cuma the one for all punya power is unique in that sense because it can store and can be transferred. As far as I know, dalam anime there's not been a power that can be transferred to another user. But quirks that can utilize multiple other user punya quirks dah banyak. So that makes the one for all unique in that sense.
Okay.
But macam Deku mention dalam the outro dia kata tapi kalau macam tu bukan one for all, it's like all for one ke? That one will be next week lah.
Kita akan bincangkan nanti dalam segmen-segmen seterusnya.
Okay.
So kita ada beberapa soalan daripada penonton di rumah yang aku harap korang boleh jawab. Pertama daripada Iqbal Lee, dia tanya, aku tak faham scene Monoma ni, apakah maksud dia blank lepas dia dah kena tangkap dengan Ochako yang blank tu time Monoma kata code tak activate sebab blank. Can you guys explain? Remember lepas dia dah kena overpower by Ochako, dia cakap I couldn't activate it, it's blank. What does it mean? Anri, do you have any understanding of it from the manga ke apa?
It doesn't explain much in the manga, but this manga series kan, this anime series, this series in general kan, they ask you to interpret the story using your own interpretation. I think when Monoma was trying to extract Deku's power, he extracted the power from Deku's body, not from the one for all punya core. Deku is quirkless. I think that's what it means by blank.
I like that explanation. Shaz, do you have any theories?
No, sebab aku punya source of translation was different, so mungkin dia punya sentence is new to me lah. But I think Anri punya suggestion is quite acceptable because the one for all is not so much a genetic punya quirk, is a power macam vessel. Dia boleh letak power, aku pass. So it's like it's inside him, but it's not within dia punya genetics. So likely the case, Monoma punya power needs to come in contact with the opponent punya genetics. Baru dia boleh trigger, he can copy. Kalau tidak, that's why if that was the case kan, cannot activate because of a blank, dia tak boleh jadilah.
That kind of makes sense.
Yep.
That kind of makes sense. So soalan seterusnya adalah daripada ataupun komen seterusnya adalah daripada kategori The Great di YouTube. Dia mengatakan dalam manga My Hero Academia, arc ini Monoma menerangkan dengan baik tentang quote dia dan macam mana dia guna. Kalau nak tahu, Monoma boleh copy manipulated power sahaja. Tapi mutation power tak boleh copy sebab tu Monoma tak copy Mineta's quirk. Dalam manga dia terang. What's a manipulated power and what's a mutation power? Kalau can you talk about it, Anri? Aku quite confused.
When people read the manga, right, they tend to overlook this. Good job on category The Great for actually remembering this because I didn't. Mutation power is basically what they refer to is with physical traits yang that comes with the quirk. Like Mineta kan, he has that balls on his head. That's his mutation power. Asui has long tongue, frog-like upper physique. Monoma cannot copy that. He just Ochako boleh. Ochako is basically manipulation power because she manipulates gravity by touching. I think that's what they mean by manipulation powers and mutation power.
So kalau macam tu, that case, one for all might be a transferable mutation power.
I don't. It could be mutation because Deku telan apa rambut All Might. But yeah, eat this. Bulu apa? Bulu mana lah, tak tahu lah. but okay. If you makan bulu tu kan, I don't know if it's a legit thing or it's just macam I agree to transfer you my power. But if the hair thing is real, it's probably mutation because some genetic is involved. But to me, I think it's a mixture of both. Actually, it's both manipulation and and mutation because there's more powers being involved in here right now when it comes to one for all.
That's cool. Maksudnya
That's
Monoma ni tak setera Mystic daripada X-Men lah, because Mystic boleh shape change dan buat kuasa juga. So Monoma ada had kepada dia punya stealing of powers. Shaz, you were saying?
That's why kalau you tengok, dia tak boleh copy powers macam Ashido punya power, dia tak boleh nak copy Invisible Girl punya power, things which are always on, not something that can I activate it. Kaminari punya boleh because his power can turn on and off. Anybody punya power that cannot turn off, dia tak boleh nak copy.
Apa dia?
Is that why he cannot copy Shinso punya power?
Maybe, that's interesting.
Tapi tak juga because Shinso can still talk naturally dengan kawan-kawan dia. It's an activated power.
Betul juga. So, apa pendapat korang tentang Monoma ni? Tell us in the comment section below. Komen terakhir untuk malam ini daripada Iqbal Lee. Rasanya maybe bagi mangaka, quirk dapat rampas banyak-banyak quirk tu adalah quirk paling bahaya untuk satu-satu villain dapat. Macam dalam Jojo, kuasa main villain mesti ada kaitan dengan masa sebab tu power paling bahaya. Maybe mangaka ni memang suka fikirkan, pasal dia kan kaki Marvel DC kan, so maybe dia tak pernah nampak dalam Marvel tu DC ada seorang ni ada 10, 100 kuasa tu. Maybe that's his twist to the Marvel DC mythology lah, which is kind of cool. Okay, dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan ke babak menarik kita yang ketiga. Okay, babak menarik kita yang ketiga adalah di mana Deku cuba menggunakan kuasa barunya Blackwhip untuk menangani Shinso namun tidak berjaya. Ada dua quote menarik tentang babak ni. Pertama daripada Deku, dia mengatakan, "My doubts and insecurities for the power is gone. This new power is my comrade. I must control my heart." Aku tak tahu lah. Pada aku Netflix punya ahli bahasa macam there's something wrong with it. Aku baca balik pun it sounds so shit, man.
Sama.
Ya ke? Okay.
Alternative source memang dia kena control dia punya rage and anger and everything. Then baru dia boleh manage. Which is quite consistent lah.
kau tengok my doubts and insecurities for the powers are gone. And then this new power is my comrade. Aku macam, is there no other Japanese word you could change it into? The second quote adalah, the new power is too much for my body to withstand. This isn't a power that I can control with 20% of my max output. I can feel it deeply. This power exists before One for All. It's a power I can only master after having total control over One for All. So, persoalan aku kepada para panelis, apakah pendapat anda tentang nerfing of these new powers oleh mangaka My Hero Academia? Adakah ini logik? Kita mulakan dengan Shaz. Silakan Shaz.
Actually aku tak consider it a nerfing. It's more of the fact that if you think about it, it makes sense. Because for the transfer of power, for the transfer of One for All to another user, tak semestinya orang tu tak ada power. It is not a requirement that they must not have a power. One of the initial candidates for All Might was also Mirio kan, Anri?
Mirio, yeah.
Yep. So when they can transfer the power, it means logically there is a potential that some of the powers has been around longer than One for All. So dalam case ni, lama ni pergi ni. Lepas kita proceed dulu. Dalam case ni, I don't think it is a nerf because this is the original Blackwhip punya power, and then when combined with One for All punya power, he got stronger. Okay, to the point where after so many generations, when handed down, even the original user was saying like, the power of this ability has grown so much stronger than when I first used it, which is a different magic by itself lah, sebab vestigious boleh sense power, but kita ambil je sebagai misteri One for All. So dalam case ni, sebenarnya aku rasa kalau somebody adult were to get One for All, 20% might have been enough for him to control Blackwhip. Tapi sebab Deku is still a kid, Deku punya 20% was not enough. Because the person who had Blackwhip was an adult. So when the original Blackwhip user is saying benda ni is even stronger than I used to when I used to have it. So it's memang it's believable lah. And kalau kita tengok pun kan, Deku punya tangan kan selalu patah initially by the simple power enhancement part of One for All kan, pun he can self damage. So mungkin the memory of that and the panic that he got masa the first time keluar benda tu, so it's something that is actually aku tak rasa is a nerf, but it's more of him realizing that this thing is potentially stronger than maybe 20%. It might not be 20%. Mungkin by 30% he dah boleh control. But the fear tu tau, at that point in time, kita jangan lupa dia student Kalau katakan All Might tu, at his if he were to receive that power at the point of time, I think he can handle it quite easily. But Deku being a kid, and he just had the traumatic experience of losing the control, macam benda tu nak makan diri dia, dah lah pula the one girl that suka dia pula tiba-tiba dah luka kan, like, kenapa kau luka kan? So the fear, the panic, the trauma, I think he was very worried. That's why masa dia try pun, kalau you tengok you punya ni kan, your overlay tu, dia boleh extend power tu je tapi tak bergerak. Which means he cannot will it to move as he wanted it. And the last point, sorry aku seronok power dia, aku banyak sembang pula. The last point tu, when dia kena kutuk dengan Shinso kan dia macam there was like mental electricity dalam kepala dia. So memang when dia marah, he lose control, so he terus aku disperse je lah power ni, I'll just use my basic power je lah.
Okay, cool. Anri, do you agree dengan apa yang Shaz teorikan?
I agree. with some of it, but I think it's unnecessary nerfing on Deku's new power, and I think it's an ass pull basically. Deku activated the power 2 times for this match, and then he suddenly doesn't want to use it. That doesn't make sense because when he first used it, he almost leveled a city, which is basically the training area. And the second time when he used it, he had control of it, some control of it. I'm not saying that he should macam apa hempuk Shinso dengan the Blackwhip or anything, but he had control. He was on top of things, even when he was using like 20%, and then he said later, like 10 seconds later, oh, I must in order not to lose control and hurt people, I must keep everything at 8%. I'm like, you ada meter sini ke nak apa keep tabs on your power 8%. What the hell are you talking about? Even All Might, right, when he was fighting, like he would say, I'm going to beat you using 50% of my powers. That never happened. He just beat up somebody with his full strength. If it's not enough, he'll just hit harder, which is basically the most realistic thing to do. But now Deku's like 8%, 10%, 20%, 30%. Now I have to control I can only use Blackwhip until I master 100% and all 8 of my powers, which is basically bullshit. You don't need to take control of all your powers, take command of every powers. You just use it just now. And because Shinso and Monoma kacau you in the mind games department, it's bullshit. And the part where they say, oh, the Blackwhip exists even before all for one for all thing gets involved. Oh, excuse me? Wasn't the first user powerless? Adik kepada all for one? What are you talking about? You mean the Blackwhip was his previous power before he was being made into all for one for all? What's going on? The mangaka is confused at this point. He just gave Deku a big moment with his power, and then he tries to control it afterwards. It's my biggest problem with this episode, and probably in this match. It doesn't make sense at all. If I were Deku, I would like, okay, katakan I don't use Blackwhip, right? Why can't I just use like 10% hempuk Shinso in front of me? I have to use 8% because nak jimat minyak on my kenderaan, my body. It doesn't make sense. This is the thing that pulls the showdown at this particular episode lah for me.
Aku agree. Because kau dah last episode kau dah cakap you're gonna manifest another 6 more powers. Lepas tu this is my new power. This is my power but it's stronger than before. So bila dia dah cakap yang I can control this now as long as I control my heart. Aku yang kan like yes, hero moment, he's gonna do something.
He even say I have control my emotions. I can control this power. And now I cannot use it.
Lepas tu jatuh je ketang. Aku macam what the fuck is going on here, man?
Yeah, it's like me getting a pistol. I have the pistol, I have the bullets, but I cannot use it because I don't have a holster. Doesn't make sense.
Until I know how to make a gun, I cannot use a gun. That's the logic way. Until I know how to make a gun. I'm holding a gun, but I must know how to make a gun first before I can use a gun.
And I must memorize the serial number and the pattern lessons.
To me, this is one of the weakest spots of this episode lah. So, apa pendapat korang di rumah? Tell us in the comment section below. Dengan itu, kita akan ke segmen kita yang keempat. Okay, so kita nampak yang selepas all this huru-hara, secara decisively, Class 1A counter attack Deku berjaya menawan Shinso, manakala Ochako pula menyelamatkan keadaan dengan menolong Mineta dan Aishido, mengalahkan 2 oponen dan kita juga nampak Aishido like tiger uppercut dekat Mohd Twin Impact tu. I think quote daripada Minat mengatakan there were some close calls during the battle but the 5th battle is over. all of you managed to anticipate the enemy's attacks. Aku rasa ni agak laju and aku agree dengan Anri awal tadi. Kalau there was an extra 6 minutes of fighting, baru nampak cool sikit. Tapi ni macam tiba-tiba, suddenly there was about turn soalan aku kepada para panelis, adakah anda terkejut dengan about turn yang tiba-tiba berlaku di dalam battle number 5 ini menyebabkan kelas 1A menawan kelima-lima ahli kelas 1B? Is this also a nerf? Maksudnya, Bakugo dah menang last episode, decisive. Jadi kita punya hero utama siri ni pun kena menang decisive juga. Apa pendapat anda, Anri? Silakan.
Okay, as much as a nerf moment this whole looks like, I don't think it's a nerf per se lah. We got a testimony from class 1B kan. None of us are good at close quarters combat. We have to keep them at mid-range. The two girls and the guy who can control the size and all that stuff. The only I think I mentioned before we start the screen just now. Dengan Nick, I mentioned that class 1A, class 1B, class 1A basically has 3 people who can do close combat. Midoriya, which is actually one of the best close combatants in class 1A. Ochako, dia guna yang gun hit martial arts. And Ashiro, who's a dancer and a physically active sportswoman type. So these 3 can fight. The only person in class 1B yang boleh fight is basically maybe Monoma, and he's not that particularly good. And Shinso, who just received training from Aizawa. Remember, he was from the general punya course. Dia tak ada combat training on that part. And he was relying on his voice power to mind control powers. So he doesn't have any experience fighting hand-to-hand combat. So when he was learning from Aizawa, he probably has like a month of training nak lawan dengan Deku, who basically fought stronger, bigger, better villains in real life. So when class 1A closed the gap with class 1B, it was all over. It was a landslide victory because they have 3 formidable fighters against class 1B, which have 2 maybe novice combatants. So it's not enough moment. It basically makes sense lah. It's like when you're playing a video game, strength characters and intelligent characters. Intelligence are deadly when they have range, but if you sneak close enough, everything falls apart.
I like that assessment. It actually makes sense when you explain it that way. Shaz, apa pendapat kau?
I actually like that assessment tu. Kalau kau tengok dia punya all the 3 scenes that you highlight kat sini kan, semua straight from classic Street Fighter, King of Fighter punya move tau. Macam Ochako dia dash ke belakang, dia tetap. Ashido buat Shoryuken. Lepas tu Ochako did grapple move macam Zangief.
Yes, or Honda.
Zangief di Honda. So when you compare that dengan characters who always main zoning kan, dia kena stay away. Once they got into dia punya effective range, it was memang kalah lah. Because kalau you tengok all 3 of the 1B punya class punya students kan, they relied on their power alone to fight. Macam contoh kan, the bottom one, the red girl, dia nampak Ochako dah like penampak kau, dia terus like dia terus tak boleh nak lawan tu. At least lah penampar sikit ke apa kan, dia terus like dah terlalu tangkut ke belakang. Macam our team impact guy tu kena sucker punch kan, dia terkejut lah tiba-tiba like what? Because dia kan gemuk kan, and as gemuk people we know lah, kita nak lawan dengan orang yang atletik ni kan, tak boleh. The only reason aku rasa dia kalahkan kita punya MVP Mineta ni, he's the real MVP is the fact that aku like kita cakap early kan, dia ni hamsap ni, mesti dia attack dia lah, boom. Dia kena sebiji member, sakit.
Betul.
So yeah, that's the difference between 1A and 1B. They are forced to adapt and use actual fighting skills
Yes.
to complement dia orang punya abilities. And kalau you tengok pun kan, Ochako dengan Ashido punya abilities memang kalau by itself is not much use. So that's why dia complement dia punya natural fighting skills lah kat situ.
I think I agree dengan cakap apa yang kau kata. Lepas tengok 5-5 battle ni, kelas 1B memang dia orang bukan saja book smarts, tapi dia orang tak ada macam hand to hand combat punya ability. They are too much dependent on their powers, macam manga lah. I mean besides Kendo, yang lain Shishida okay lah. Shishida pasal badan dia besar kan. He's a beast like character. But besides that, everybody else, even the mudman tu, dia harap semua benda nak tukar jadi mud. Lepas tu nak swim dalam mud. That's it. Dia tak pandai hand to hand combat pun.
Macam kalau kita compare dengan video game fighting video game characters kan, you have all this 1D punya class are all those players yang buat 1000 Hadouken. Tapi the moment somebody who main let's say can jump over your head, tendang kepala, habis. Dia tak buat satu Hadouken pun you dah kalah. Because ultimately is when your attacks connect, then it will work. Tapi dalam case ni, aku rasa lah, they did not want to reveal themselves so fast. Tapi sebab Deku punya power rampage across the entire city, so they were exposed. So dia macam like, now kita dah in the open kan, so we fight the best we can lah.
It looked like they had the upper hand at the start of the episode tau, dengan baling-baling screw, lepas tu twin impact screw. So nampak macam, lepas tu tiba-tiba Mineta counter attack, and then tiba-tiba dia orang macam okay kita give up. It's like
the end of the previous episode, kalau tak silap aku, they showed a scene where all of them was in the same frame.
Yeah.
So macam like, you are at a disadvantage lah. The sniper ambusher type nya characters, once you are caught in the open, you will lose. Unless you can, you can fight in close quarters lah. That's why dalam army US semua kan, even our army, the snipers, they also have a pistol.
Yes, hand to hand combat is important, ataupun close range combat is important. Yeah.
So dalam case ni, over reliance of powers was their downfall lah. Cuma like Anri and you pun cakap, I setuju that bagilah a few more minutes kan. This is the main hero fight, coach. The ending was too fast lah. I mean, I like how the progression pushed to the ending, but we could have had the finale cliffhanger, and then dia punya cerita-cerita was put in the next episode.
Yes.
All of the blah 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 blah, oh you did well, you didn't
macam post-mortem tu boleh hantar next episode lah, biar this episode be about the battle, man, yeah, unfortunately.
Because I would have been very happy to see Monoma suddenly really surprise them with another power or something. Tapi macam like,
I expected bila dia nak tutup pintu tu, kau ingat aku ada 3 saja ke? Kau ingat aku ada 5 minit je ke? Like, come on, reveal something. Lepas tu dia diri dalam jail. Sorry, aku dah cuba terbaik. Aku macam fuck you lah.
That's Monoma. He's a troll. He's trolling people before, after, during the match. He's a troll.
Ya, betul tu.
Memang the power kalau dia dengan that he displayed on Deku, the second impact tu, if kena Ochako, would have been like, reversal, But then I guess the mangaka wrote it that way, so. And then, siapa cakap tadi, kategori The Crate cakap, dalam manga dia ada monolog kan, Monoma cakap, pasal aku sebenarnya macam ni, dia buat macam ni. That was not in the anime.
The manipulated power versus mutation power. Yeah.
So kalau dia describe that could have added another 1-2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be nice.
Push Gum to the end of time so that the post-mortem begins next episode.
Yes. I would have loved a Mineta backstory, dia training, and then a Monoma punya a little bit more. Yeah.
Itulah, I mean, just a simple question lah. Like, mungkin dia orang tengah lari, Ashido like, kau dah kenapa duk balik kau punya grade tu rata-rata? Aku ada plan. That's all we needed.
Yeah.
It's like foreshadowing kan.
Yeah. I think we only saw 2 episodes ago yang Ochako terbangkan Mineta. Lepas tu Mineta was like floating and putting his grapes all over the place. But that was the only setup lah. It was very, kan dia diterbangkan dengan tali kan, something. He was floating with a yellow tali. Yeah. But that was it lah, like, and this is the payoff lah, I think. But yes, I would have loved to see him training sambil menangis, sambil keluarkan berdarah. Aku kena buat 300 ball. Aku kena belajar untuk buat 300. Because yeah, the payoff is in this episode. So we needed that training.
Or maybe lah masa dia orang tengah dekat tengah tengok cerita kan. Dia just a small scene, minta kat belakang, casually just pop off. Kan? Sebab they had like a long time to wait tau. So macam like random pop off. So, dah kenapa dok buat ni? Adalah plan aku nanti fight ni adalah purpose dia kan. So letak simpan dalam bag ke apa kan. Sebab dia pakai pampers besar kau tau. Kau perasan tak? Pampers dia besar. Aku rasa dia sorok semua kat situ.
Sedih. Dah lah dia ketot. Masa dia punya superhero suit ialah a metal pampers. Aku macam betul lah. Okey, dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan ke babak menarik kita yang kelima. Babak menarik kita yang kelima adalah Post-Mortem of battle number 5. Selepas kelas 1A menang joint training arc, Aizawa membuat Post-Mortem terhadap prestasi pencapaian mereka dalam battle number 5. Quote favorite aku adalah daripada Aizawa tentang babak ini. Everyone here is training hard to become a hero that saves lives from danger. You can't save anyone if you're obsessed with what people think of you. If you can't save yourself, you don't have the strength to save others. Fight on with your plus ultra spirit. Aku memang suka tu quote ni. It reminds me of the Sphinx daripada movie 1999 ke? Mystery Man. Yes, dia suka buat quote terbalik macam if you doubt your powers, you give power to your doubt. So this moment Aizawa betul-betul macam the Sphinx tu.
Yes.
Persoalan aku kepada para panelis, apakah pendapat anda tentang Shinso berjaya memasuki hero training course? Kita mulakan dengan Anri. Silakan Anri.
Okay, do you want to know if he made it or not? Could be.
It looks like he made it by the end of this episode. But
dalam anime he mentioned. They mentioned that he lose.
Yeah, but do you know which class he's going and when he's going in?
1A,
No.
1A. I want to be spoiled. Shaz, do you want to be spoiled?
Boleh, this one I don't mind.
Okay, silakan.
Okay, minor spoilers. Shinso passed because regardless when he win or lose the matches, they were impressed by what he was delivering. So he would join the hero course next semester for class 1B.
Damn it. 1B.
Yeah, but I don't think we will be seeing this next semester because you have to understand right now it's like autumn. After autumn is winter, so it's just basically like they're still in one semester, so he can only join next semester, which is basically next semester lah, betul lah.
Kalau tidak all the homework semua disrupted lah.
He couldn't keep up. Plus if he masuk class 1A, right, which is basically the advanced class compared to 1B, he probably couldn't keep up lah. So he probably has to join 1B and then get a hang of it, get used to hero training, and then maybe Aizawa can promote him or something. Because if I'm not mistaken, class 1A, 1B kan at the end of the program, I don't know if this is mentioned or not, they're going to be in the field regardless of which class they belong to. Macam
okay.
Macam in the previous season kan they went for the internship, right? Momo was with Kendo with that snake lady, and they were working together regardless of the class kan. They were treated equally. So It makes little difference. Just the training is that different. And the training for Shinzo to masuk class 1B is basically more suitable because it's more low impact lah compared to 1A.
But that
Just
means Monoma akan ada full chance untuk psycho lagi Shinzo tu.
Yelah. Yelah. It's Monoma. What do you expect?
Okay.
Like insaf. Not happening.
Shaz, apakah pendapat kau tentang the post-mortem?
I think the post-mortem was quite good lah, sebab kalau you nak tengok that Aizawa, he actually understands all the students punya ability, especially 1A, and Shinzo sebab he train personally because dia nampak the passion dalam Shinzo. That was important sebab the first step, this is partly to quote from Harry Potter jugalah. Kalau kau nak masuk Gryffindor, hati kau memang nak masuk dalam Gryffindor, tetap masuk Gryffindor, that's where you end up lah. So dalam case ni, even though the power is not really suitable to be a hero type, but he found ways to use it in terms of a hero punya ability. Contohnya lah, I can foresee him kan, kalau dia jadi rescue type budak-budak tengah panik panggil dia, "Oi, dia kan cakap aku oi." Dia like, "Ah." Then they'll just calm down because dia orang dah tak panik dah. That's one application lah. So I think as a support character, he'll be quite good lah. That might be why he masuk 1B, because dia punya combat experience is not good, and maybe the teachers are thinking 1A ni asyik-asyik kena belasah je kan. Apa statement tu, pernah lawan
Tak,
Yakuza.
because Anri was talking about internship. Doesn't matter A
yeah.
atau B, you will still interns.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they'll have joint internship lah and field punya training and whatnot.
Yeah, they do.
Because in the end, the heroes cannot choose who they want to work with. Sometimes the teams are all ad hoc punya pairings. So that's why I think it doesn't really matter dia masuk 1A, 1B. It's just that 1A ni character dynamics dia dah set kan. So to put another character in is quite difficult lah.
Betul. Dan komen favourite aku untuk segmen ini adalah daripada kategori The Great. Dia bertanya, kenapa Miss Midnight tak jadi MC dari awal lagi? Kalau kau perasan dalam overlay ni, bukan Vlad tau. Bukan Vlad, it was Miss Midnight, man. That was pretty cool, man.
Sebab Vlad dah kalah. So dia macam aku tak nak komen lah. Yang best tu kan is retribution to all the 1A punya penyokong kat belakang tu tau. Yeah, finally. Ada signage. Share commentary.
Aku baca dia punya kelakar gila tu. Fair commentary should be replaced immediately. Memang bagai gila tu.
That was one of those things yang the mangaka made running joke in the background for every single round. It was funny lah.
Indeed. Nice payoff. Okay, dengan itu kita akan ke segmen terakhir kita malam ini. Harapan bagi episod minggu depan. Okay, jadi judul episod minggu depan adalah The New Power and All for One. And kalau kau tengok dia punya preview tu pun ada Deku cakap tentang bukankah kuasa aku sama macam All for One? So aku look forward to lebih banyak misteri di sebalik 6 manifestasi lain di dalam badan Deku untuk diterangkan. Apakah harapan korang bagi episod minggu depan? Shaz, you were saying something about All for One? Silakan.
Power of All for One punya power ni, because it can combine a lot of different powers kan. I'm hoping that they will be able to talk to Deku who the previous users are and what is their power, because it makes so much sense. You know it's coming, and you know all the previous 8 users pun, unless they die every time and they tak beritahu. Most of the heroes should have a list of dia orang punya hero ability and everything under the government punya archives. Sebab superhero ni kan is a license, So they need to have the data, nama kau siapa. It's like the superhero initiative lah. Kan? They need to know who they are, their real name, their hero name, what can they do and what not. Because in a massive operation, contohnya macam anti yang dia orang nak serang Yakuza punya group tu kan, they will pick suitable characters. Or like certain task macam kalau Hawks nak infiltrate and everything, they cannot call somebody yang jenis bising-bising je. They, like apa, macam Mr. Mike tu kan, dalam the school punya teacher punya tu, apa, Present Mike tak silap aku, Present Mike.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so they need to be, they have the catalog abilities lah. So kalau katakan at least lah they know a few of the characters punya powers, it will help Deku a lot lah in realizing what powers might show up in the future. But the most important part is, aku harap Bakugo will be there during the talk dengan All Might. Because Bakugo ni, like it or not is a catalyst for Deku punya growth. Because he is always trying to grow higher and higher and higher. But at the same time, dia bengang dengan Deku punya inability to be as good a fighter as him. Which kalau kita tengok is actually quite true lah. Kalau you tengok on Raw growth Bakugo punya growth is significant. Kalau katakan Deku had the same type of potential quirk, that means not one for all, dengan Bakugo, aku rasa Bakugo would have been dah left him in the dust a long time ago. Dari segi dia punya fighting potential, dia punya, sebab dia fokus strictly on combat kan. Kepala dia fikir how to fight and all that. I think this is betul-betul a case of macam Dragon Ball kan, Goku dengan Vegeta lah. Goku has all the talent and all the special, plot armor, plot power and everything. Whereas Vegeta is the real hardworking guy. So it could have been partly from there also, the storyline. Cuma masalahnya Todoroki ni tiba-tiba, in that twin rivalry, tiba-tiba ada orang ketiga. Like, kau siapa? Who are you?
Betul. Anri, what are your hopes for next week?
Okay, next week I hope we can see some more character growth lah. I hope there's a moment of reflection on all the participants for the particular matches. I hope we have something going on with the other students in class 1A and not just focus on Deku. Because if I'm not mistaken, a certain student in class 1A will get some time to expand dia punya background lah. I'm not going to mention who, but I think it's this particular time lah. Somebody get a moment to actually have some character growth on dia punya side. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the episode before the start of the next core. Episode 13. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is basically going to focus more on either the villains punya growth atau the dynamics between Hawks dengan Endeavor. Or maybe all three. Maybe Deku and dia punya class ada macam minor scene 1 or 2, but this is the end of the first core and the beginning of the second core. So hopefully apa yang nak kata growth, nak reflection, nak whatever this you want to highlight, this past 11 episodes will be shown in this episode, and then we can move on to the next stage.
Aku nak Ochako bagi tahu Deku that, hey, I actually like you like a pet. It's like because kau dapat Ashido pun macam and then kau peluk dia, lepas tu kau tengok muka dia jadi merah macam tu kan.
I don't see it as good. I see it as a waste of time tau. Deku, you kena bantai hampir maut like 5 times this whole 5 seasons. Takkan benda macam ni kan kita Ochako, jom kita pergi minum teh or something. Itu pun macam mati. It's a waste of time.
You never know, man. You never know. Okay, kita ada satu komen daripada kategori The Great. Dia bertanya, adakah one for all sama macam anti-life equation dark side? One for all macam misteri lagi. kena tunggu lagi. What are your thoughts about persoalan kategori degrade ni?
Who? Shaz or me?
Aku tak ada idea langsung.
Okay. Anti-life equation is different on the artist and storyline. The most popular one that I like so far was the anti-life equation was the cumulative core of all consciousness, which is in the Justice League Unlimited series. I don't think I see some similarities where it interconnects all life. I'm talking about the anti-life equation that has the power to control all life, but I don't think it's the same as All for One. All for One is basically it has control of the things that it comes to contact with. It doesn't have all connecting relationship with powers or life, whatever it is.
Okay. Okay, aku harap persoalan kau terjawab ya kategori grade. Okay, aku rasa dengan itu berakhirlah episod kita minggu ini. Apakah pendapat korang tentang episod minggu ini? Dan apakah harapan korang bagi episod yang seterusnya? Tell us in the comment section below. Terima kasih kepada para panelis kita, Anri Alwi, Kaki Manga My Hero Academia, serta Shazli American, Kaki Anime My Hero Academia. Jumpa lagi dalam episod-episod lain dalam BuzzPOP hari ini. Contohnya esok kita bakal review Sweet Tooth daripada Netflix season 1. Epic gila. Dan hari Khamis kita bakal mereview Superman and Lois episod 9. And hari Jumaat kita akan mulakan kita punya live stream review bagi Loki season 1 episode 1. Jumpa lagi. Majulah fandom untuk negara.
Bye-bye.